Okay, perfect. So yeah, welcome everyone. We're super excited to have you all on our deep dive today, all about pro tips to speed up your workflow. My name is Jen Miller. I am a business success coach with Practice Better, and I am joined by my colleagues Shelley and Meerah as well. Why don't you guys say hi as well?
Hi. Hi, Jen.
Yeah, so the three of us are going to walk you through the deep dive today. And we wanted to, before we sort of get started, to put a question out to you guys and just see who, with the topic for a deep dive today, who feels like there are areas of their workflow that you could speed up or optimize further, and what would be maybe some of those areas. So just comment quick in the chat and let us know. Communicating with clients, okay. Billing, recommendations and follow-up.
I'm already faster with your system. Awesome.
Amazing. That's good to hear. Workflow, notes. Cool. Yeah. So a lot of that stuff we will touch on today. So that's great. Just to sort of introduce, I guess, the topic. So pro tips to speed up your workflow. So we're going to be diving into basically some best practices that can really help to boost your efficiency as you work in both sort of your practitioner portal and a little bit with clients. So after the session today, you're going to learn how to really customize the practitioner and client dashboards, optimize your use of the search function to really quickly sort of navigate your portal, use tags to keep your clients organized and also track their progress, create snippets to save you a lot of time. So snippets is a cool one that maybe some of you are using, maybe some of you aren't. And then as well, leverage the client hub to really keep all your client information at your fingertips. So the first kind of piece we're going to go over is the key tools and features to help you speed up your workflow. And then second, we're going to sort of take a look at how you can organize and boost your efficiency when you're working with clients. So sort of right before your sessions, sort of preparing for your sessions. So so why don't you share your screen and we'll kind of get started.
Yeah, and you guys feel free to submit your questions either in the chat or the Q&A, and we are going to be looking for questions related to kind of each section that we're talking about, and then we'll catch some more questions at the end. Of course, the UPS guy comes right.
No worries. Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, while we're doing sort of the demo portion, we're going to turn our video off so we can focus on that. But like Shelley said, definitely comment in the chat with any questions that you have, and we'll try to get to as many as possible. All right, let's do it. Let's get started. I think, Shelley, you're up with the first section here.
Yep. I'm trying. My screen was locking up here. All the technology. All right. Okay. So we are going to talk about one of our newer features, which is actually one of my favorite new features of the platform, which is the practitioner dashboard. So we all, we realize that we all have different workflows and different kind of like priorities in our practice as far as like what we want to see when we first log into the platform, like what is important to us when we first log on and we want to get started for the day or get started for the time period that we're going to be working. So the dashboard has various what we call widgets that you can utilize to get important information and relevant information such as your booking request or your tasks, like at a glance right when you log into the platform. So you have the ability to pick and choose which widgets you want to display and move them around so it's convenient for you to access that information without having to navigate through the platform, as Meerah is showing you here. So with the new dashboard, you can create multiple dashboard pages. So for example, if you want client-related widgets on one page, you can put your active program and let's say journal entries widgets on another page so that if you have a lot of active clients and maybe you just want to see the client related information on one page, you can put that all on one dashboard and create multiple dashboards. So this way you're not crowding your main dashboard, but you still have that information accessible. So on the left-hand side of your dashboard, you'll see that you have the ability to create bookmarks. So it's a great way to quickly access web pages within and outside of Practice Better, such as your own website or an online supplement dispensary. So Meerah is showing us how you would easily set up these bookmarks.
Creating a bookmark here. So you can do this with your own website or your own dispensary, whatever you want, right on hand.
Yeah, I also like putting the link to the Practice Better YouTube channel, so you can see all the new tutorials that are coming out quickly. Just click on that and head over. Okay, so another nice feature that you have, again, if you, let's say you have 100 clients in your platform, but maybe there's 10 of those clients that you're working with day to day that are kind of in an active package with you right now, and you want to easily access their record, you can pin those clients to the left-hand side of your dashboard. So this will, so when you pin them, as Meerah is doing right here, you'll see that they are now on the left-hand side, and then this will also add them to, when you click on My Clients on the drop-down, it's going to add them there. Maybe you need to refresh. I'm not sure.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. So this is great if you're if your clients you are working closely with and you just easily want to access their record. So also on the dashboard, you can easily keep track of your clients and how many clients you have in the platform, how much storage you have, how much you've used and how much you have remaining, your monthly SMS usage and fax usage. By clicking on the My Subscription Usage at the bottom of the left-hand corner, you get this nice pop-up with that relevant information in one convenient place. So thank you so much, Meerah, for showing us that. So any questions? Do you have any questions about the dashboard?
I saw one come through about bookmarks, and so they're asking, can we add a Google link of a shared Google folder as a link in a bookmark, basically? So yeah, I mean, you can add any sort of external links as a bookmark for your own reference. So you could, I believe, definitely add a link to your Google folder there. So let us know if that answers.
And yes, just so everybody knows, we are recording the webinar, and the replay will be emailed out to anybody who registered.
Yeah. And another question, just when we were mentioning that you could add a bookmark for your dispensary, someone had asked, can you use any dispensary or can you only use FullScript? So the integration that we have dispensary wise is just with FullScript. But if you have a different dispensary that you use and you want to just add a quick link to your dispensary on your dashboard, you can add that as a bookmark. So that's just going to take you to your external dispensary that's, you know, not integrated with Practice Better. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything.
Show me where to get the bookmark again, please.
Yeah, so Meerah is just highlighting that there. So just on the left-hand side, add bookmark. And you can just simply add that. You can choose the name for it as well as just add in the URL there. All right, let's see if there's anything else here. Okay, so someone said, do we need to add FullScript to the bookmark? No, so that's already integrated. So, I mean, if you want to go to your FullScript account, like externally, you could add a link there, but if you've added it as a third-party integration, then you then it's already sort of integrated with the platform. I hope that answers
Can
the
you
question.
show the process of making favorite clients on the left?
Yeah, so there's a
Right.
few ways. You can click on Pin Client and select the clients here. Or if you go to My Clients, you can select the star beside the clients you want to pin. So you can do both ways.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Meerah. Someone's saying, I don't see that left-hand panel. So perhaps if you star your client, then that might pop up there for you.
And also make sure that you're viewing your dashboard on a full page.
Yeah, good point for sure. Okay. Okay, I think let's move on. Perfect. So the next feature that we really wanted to highlight that is really a helpful tool to help you save time when you're working in the platform is the search bar. So Meerah's just showing you where that is, just at the top there. And so this is something that's actually found throughout the portal and can be really great if you're looking for something specific. So whether that be, a specific piece of information on a client, or maybe it's a keyword related to a note, to task, or a protocol, you can just easily search for that piece of information. And the search bar here that Meerah is showing us on the practitioner dashboard will search all of your clients' files. So this is including session notes, protocols, submitted forms, tasks, diet and lifestyle and medical profiles. And one thing to mention there though is just if you are on the Sprout or starter plan, the search is only going to search notes and tasks specifically. Yeah, so as Meerah has demoed here, if you wanted to search for, a keyword or key phrase like staying healthy, you can easily do that. And that's here populating the different resources that have those keywords. So the protocols, the notes, the client tasks that have those keywords in them. So it's just a really nice way to save time. You don't have to, be sort of searching around in your client's files for something. You can just easily use that search. Yeah, and so another thing to mention here is that you can also search specific clients' files from your client's recent activity page. So Meerah's going to navigate us to Mary Smith's page here, and this is her search bar. So this search will ensure that the results are pulling specifically from information related to Mary only. So it's more of a specific search. So again, if you're looking for something that is, in one of the resources related to Mary, then just do a search here, and that will be a lot quicker for you to find that piece of information. Yeah, and then the other thing too with regards to search is that you can actually search chat messages that are sent and received from your clients. So this is, again, helpful and much more efficient than sort of scrolling back through messages looking for something that a client said in a chat or that you shared. You can just simply search for a keyword. So as Meerah is demonstrating here, if we search for supplements, that's going to bring up the chat message with that keyword in it. So again, just a nice way to help save you time and keep things a little more efficient when you're looking for pieces of information that are, within your client's various resources. So yeah, let us know in the chat if there are any questions on the search functionality.
One thing I'll add is if you're searching for a word within a text that you sent to your client, to make sure you're using the search within the actual message. The regular search bar won't search in your messages.
Oh yeah, good point. Thanks, Meerah. Yeah, so that little sort of search icon found on the top right is where you're going to want to navigate to search within the chat. Okay.
So there's a question about in the client, the little circle with the initials in it. Where can you go to add so that it adds the first and last initial versus just the first initial? I think that, do you know, Meerah, is that in the settings? Like,
So you have the ability to change in portal preferences how the names display here. Is that what they're looking for? And again, if you have specific questions, you can always send us a message at help@practicebetter.io after this webinar, and we can answer it specifically according to what you need.
yeah, I was just looking at that little circle, the avatar where their picture would be.
But yeah, so if you go to the gear icon in the top right-hand corner and go to portal preferences, under client record preferences, you can change the way the names appear. Again, if your client doesn't have a photo attached to their record, you'll see the initials. Otherwise, if they do, you'll see the photo.
So when chatting with the client, do they receive it in their email or phone text? I think that is another, that's in your settings as well. So would you, can you navigate over to settings here?
Oh, yes. Do you mind repeating the question? I wasn't able to fully hear you.
When chatting with a client, when you send a secure chat, do they also receive, because obviously they're going to have a notification in Practice Better, but do they also receive it in their email or phone text? I think that's actually a setting on the client side. They can disable.
Yeah, so on the client side, if they have access to the client portal, they can specify what notifications they want to receive. They'll get an alert that you have sent them a message, but in terms of phone notification, if they have the app, depending on if they've enabled their settings, they'll get a notification similar to a WhatsApp notification or a Facebook message notification.
All right. Let's see, I see a couple of questions in the Q&A. Okay, so these are not, we'll get to some of these questions at the end. We're just kind of answering the questions right now that are related to what we're showing, and then we'll get to the more general questions at the end. So now we're going to move on to organizing your clients using tags, the tags feature. So utilizing Practice Better tags feature is the best way to organize and filter your client list. So this helps you distinguish the types of clients you are working with. So whether it's location-based or if it's certain different types of clients, like if they're in, say, your diabetes program or in a specific type of program, you can create those tags and then assign those to the clients. If you're on our team plan, you can also use the tags to restrict or give access to certain clients to specific practitioners on your team via the tags. So one quick tip is that you can do actually is to pin your tags on the top of your My Clients page, which Meerah is showing you here. So this allows you to quickly view all the clients with that associated tag by clicking on those at the top. So you wouldn't want to do that with all of your tags, but the more popular ones are the ones that you're using more often. And then using filters to search clients. And then this is a great way. So let's say you're getting ready to send out some type of birthday announcement or a card, and you want to get everybody whose birthday is in May. So you can do that, and you can also create new filters, which then you can save. So if you want to create a new one, you just go up here to the search bar, and then you just click on the little star, and then you give it a name, and that's going to appear on the left-hand side under filters. So that's how you would save one of your search filters. Any questions on using tags?
Not seeing anything yet, but let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, if you think of any questions as we go along, we can always loop back to that at the end as well.
All right, so I'm going to start talking about the client dashboard. You can enter into your client's record on your My Clients page and click on your client.
Hey, Meerah, sorry to interrupt you. We just had a couple questions come through on tags, so I figure we might as well
No worries.
answer those now.
Let's go back.
Yeah, so simply someone's just asking, how do I create a tag?
So on the left-hand side, you should see a Create Tag button with the plus sign. So select that, select the name that you want for your tag. So let's say these are your clients that have booked discovery calls. You can select the color, it'll help you coordinate and keep track of them. And then you'll see it on the left-hand side. So discovery calls here. And as it becomes relevant to your client, you'll just drag and drop it wherever it's relevant. And then you can pin it by clicking the 3 dots and selecting Pin Tag, and that will put the tag on the top. And you can always unpin it later.
Perfect. Thanks, Meerah. Cool. Yeah, I think we're good to move on.
All right, so going back to client dashboard. So this is your client's record. Similar to the practitioner dashboard, you have widgets in your client dashboard as well. You can create multiple dashboards within your client record as well. For example, if you don't work with booking requests or package requests or tasks, for example, instead of removing them entirely, you can create a new dashboard and add them there. So another cool feature is if you see something that we don't have, you can always request a widget and we can record that for our development team. But for now, right, we have upcoming sessions, booking requests, tasks for yourself and the client, journal entries, and recent activity. So the one that I want to highlight is our recent activity widget. This widget essentially shows you all the notifications and actions done for that client. So here you can see the emails that have been sent to the client and different things that you've done for them. For example, create an invoice, create a package for them, and you can verify that the email notification was sent. This is helpful if your clients are not able to locate any notifications or resources that you've sent to them. You can verify that it was sent to the email associated with their client record. Another really cool thing is that you can pin messages on your recent activity widget. This is helpful if there's information that you need at a quick glance when you view your client's record. For example, if your client has allergies to nuts, I can write that here. I can add the note and then pin it to the top. So now whenever I view this client's record, I'll know at the top, oh, Mary Smith is allergic to nuts, and I can keep that in mind. Another helpful thing about the client record is the client hub. So you can open that by selecting this icon on the left-hand corner. You can open multiple client hubs. This essentially is a quick view to different aspects of their client record. You can also create quick notes from here as well, access their previous notes, take a look at their forms. The client hub stays open even if you leave their client record and you go to other places within the portal. So that is a helpful tool when you're working with a client and you need to keep their information open while you're doing other things.
Hey, Meerah, can you, real quick, there's 2 things, if you can just re-show them again. Where do you find the client hub?
Yeah, so going back into the client record.
There's actually multiple places, but.
Yeah, there's multiple places, but specifically to the client record, you'll see this icon on the left-hand corner. It's of a little person, and it says when you hover over it, Open Client Hub.
Yeah, it's also in the drop down under My Clients. You'll see it as well. And then the other thing, can you just go over again?
Just to quickly highlight, it's also in your notes.
Yeah.
So if you're writing a note for a client, you can open this Client Hub. Just keep an eye out for this icon. So as you're taking your notes, you can open a form that they completed, for example, and you can reference that when creating your note for them.
Great, awesome. And then real quick under the on the dashboard, the recent activity, can you just show again the pinning the allergy to nuts? Like if you want to pin a note.
Yeah, so let me just delete this one and show you how to do it again. So at the top of the recent activity, you can add a note here. So allergic to nuts, for example, add the note. You'll click on this icon, the pin, and that will essentially pin it to the top. And when it's no longer important, you can unpin it or you can edit it, delete it. It's totally up to you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, just before I move on from here, I just want to clarify, you can remove widgets by clicking the 3 dots, but you cannot create new client dashboard pages as you can with the practitioner dashboard. So if you find a widget is not relevant to what you're doing with your client, you don't need to see that information, you can click on the 3 dots and remove it. And if it is important to you later on your dashboard settings, you can always add it back.
Yeah, and there was a question about the client hub. So if you're on a video chat with a client, you can have the client hub open, and that they'll be able to just see you. They won't see the client hub on the video.
So yes, so if you're in a telehealth session, you can open the client hub. It's helpful if you want to take notes during the session. Keep in mind with the quick note option, you won't be able to take notes using your note templates. It will just be a blank note like this.
All right. So another feature that we're going to talk about is just the ability to add internal notes to your bookings. So both your one-on-one and your group bookings. So these notes would be private to you and any team members who have been given access on the platform. So these would be things to remind you or your team members of anything important that's related to the client for this session. So maybe you want to remember to remind your client that they need to renew their package with you, or that they have an outstanding invoice that may be overdue. Just anything related to the client and that session. But again, the client will not see that. And it just helps to keep you organized ahead of your session, as you can add these notes well ahead of the session.
Yeah, that's a great one. Let us know in the chat if you have any questions on those internal notes. Not seeing anything come up so far here. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next feature, which is snippets. So we're excited to talk a little bit about this one. It's something that is really helpful for saving you time. So snippets are basically sort of our user-friendly shorthand text expanders for usable text. So you could kind of just think of them as creating templates for different areas of your practice. So the way that this is really helpful is that, you may find yourself sort of writing the same things over and over. So whether that be like a check-in message to your client, maybe it's a task or a recommendation on a common topic, you probably have some of those sort of like go-to phrases or explanations that you use over and over again. So snippets are a really great way to sort of include these frequently used blocks of content in different resources. So you can use snippets when creating your session notes, protocol notes, chat messages, invoice line items, food, lifestyle, and supplement recommendations, appointment notes, and package notes. So that's sort of where you can use them. And we wanted to share just a few examples of when you might want to use a snippet. So the first one is with tasks. So you may find yourself assigning the same tasks to a lot of your different clients. So maybe you have clients commonly requesting you're commonly requesting for them to send you their most recent blood work, clean out their pantry, maybe book their next appointment, that kind of thing. So Meerah is showing us how we can actually sort of create this task with the snippet, and how we can sort of pull that up really easily. And so, yeah, Meerah, maybe while we're in here, we'll just sort of talk about exactly how we pull those snippets up, which keys.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to show you an example that I just did while Jen was talking in regards to creating a task. So I'm creating a task for a client. So I'm just selecting the client. Now instead, first you'll name your task, of course. So task name here. So let's say there's specific tasks that you're creating over again, and you can apply this to anything that you do, whether it's a recommendation or content you're adding in a note. Once you've created your snippet, you can insert it anywhere by adding these squiggly lines. I don't know the exact scientific name for them, but as you add it in 2 of them, you'll see all of the snippets that you've essentially added and created on Practice Better, and you can insert them in from here.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Meerah. So that's how you can use snippets in a task. Another place where you might want to use snippets are in your notes. So this will help to pull up sort of your standard recommendations or maybe speaking points that you want to add to your notes. You know, maybe a lot of your clients are coming in complaining about trouble sleeping, or maybe, you know, asking questions about how much water to drink, or just things like that. So you can create snippets for some of those common topics, and then you can pull those up whenever you need them in your notes. So Meerah is just showing us here how to do that as well.
So again, you'll just add in the squiggle, 2 squiggles, and you'll be able to not only add in placeholders, but you'll also be able to see your snippets.
Yeah, amazing. And then I see in the chat, actually, someone's asking, can you use snippets for the chat feature? And yes, actually, that's the next example that I'm going to give. So you can create snippets for maybe it's your check-in chat messages or questions, if you regularly check in with clients using the chat. So Meerah is going to show us here how we can do that.
So it's the same steps. You'll add in those 2 squiggles and select the snippet that you want to send to your client.
Yeah, amazing. So this is just awesome because it saves you so much time. You can really quickly add these wherever you need them. So whichever resource you're working on, it can, boost your efficiency in that way, because you're just not having to retype everything. And so one other thing that I just wanted to just mention on snippets is maybe Meerah, you can open one maybe in notes, or just creating a new one here. So when you are creating a new snippet, you can see that there's 2 options there for plain text and rich formatting. So some text fields in your portal will allow for just plain text. So that's without like bold, italic, or lists. And then rich formatting is available in certain areas, specifically session notes and protocol notes. So this is important because if you set up your rich text snippet, for example, and you try to insert it into an area that's not supported by rich text, such as like a chat message or a lifestyle recommendation, it won't actually show up. So when you're creating your snippet, as Meerah is showing here, you want to make sure that you think ahead to where you plan to use it. So you want to choose between plain text or rich formatting, depending on that.
Yeah, so there's a question, can you add video or PDFs to snippets? So you can add a link, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Meerah.
just to add to what you were just saying, Shelley, if you're using the rich formatting, as you can see here, you can insert a link. So your clients will essentially get a clickable text that they can click on, and it will go to the link.
But an actual video file or a PDF, currently that is not possible.
Yes, correct. That is not currently possible.
Okay, cool. Let's see if there's any other questions here on snippets. Okay.
So what is rich formatting? That's one of the questions about snippets. So the difference between plain text, like what is the actual rich formatting?
So if you can see, when I select plain text, you cannot see this top banner here. So with rich formatting, you could essentially change how your snippet appears. So you can bold, you can format it, you can add points, you can make indents, and again, you can insert links.
Yeah, there's just a few places in the platform where when you are gonna insert a snippet that it's only plain text, like you wouldn't have the ability to center it or bold it or any of that.
Like this would be helpful if you want to insert the snippet into a note.
Yeah, or like a protocol.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you're so an example of a couple places where it would only be plain text would be the chat or say a lifestyle recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you show Meerah just real quick where in settings you're accessing the snippets again, where you can either create, edit,
Yeah,
or
so
delete?
you'll go to the gear icon, the top right-hand corner, and you'll go down to shortcut and snippets. So then you'll click on the red fast action button to add a new one.
And then, thank you, Meerah. Is it recommended to keep snippets short? Yeah, I don't think there really is a recommendation. It's just,
It's honestly up to your preference and how you're using it and where you're going to use it. For example, if you're sending it in a task or if you're sending it in chat, you want to keep in mind how much of it is your client going to read. If you're, oh, there's someone at my door now. If you're sending it, if you're creating a snippet for protocol or for notes, then you could maybe make it a little bit longer because that's a resource your client can go back and look at again. And it depends again. There's no right or wrong, but it's just up to you how you want to work with your clients and how much text they can read at a time too.
Can you speak more about the usage of snippets versus recommendations? When to use which, logistics to optimize and be efficient?
So snippets can go within recommendations. So if you find you're creating the same recommendation over and over again, instead of typing that out again, you can just create a snippet for it and insert that when you're creating your recommendation. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. Yeah, of course, you can save your recommendation, reuse that as well.
Yeah, I think the lifestyle recommendations, like the client is going to see like if they go to their lifestyle recommendations, that's where they're going to see what you're recommending. So it's kind of like, you know, an area that they're going to go to look for that. Whereas a snippet is more for you as the practice better user to be able to add text in different areas of the platform, you know, that could be not even related to lifestyle recommendations, just to make it easy so you don't have to keep typing, you know, information over and over again. All right. Yeah, so let's just move on to, we're going to kind of transition to our second part of the webinar. We're going to pull this all together and just talk a bit about how you can get organized before your sessions with clients. So now that we've shown you some of the key tools and features to help you speed up your workflow, let's take a look at how you can organize and boost your efficiency when working with clients to prepare after the booking is made and right before your session. So one of the first things you can do is to check in. We looked at earlier, Meerah showed us the recent activity widget on the dashboard for the client. So maybe you just want to double check which notifications have gone out to the client, such as like forms that needed to be completed or session reminders, just to make sure that those actually went out and they were delivered to the client. And then if you did have any forms, say an intake form or a waiver that the client was supposed to complete, you may want to go check that those were actually completed. So you can go to the client file, click on forms and waivers, and then you can go in and review these prior to the session. So if you'll see where Meerah is right now, there's a little button called Annotate. And this is a great way, like if you have a really long, lengthy intake form and
Shelley, are you still there? Meerah, are you still there?
I'm still here, yeah.
Okay, maybe Shelley froze for a sec there. Yeah, so maybe I can just sort of kind of pick that up. So we were just talking about sort of adding these private notes to your client's form. So as Meerah is showing us here, you can just sort of add that comment and you can pin that note, which will allow you to come back to that later, which is really nice. Just so that you know, when you are working with your client, you know which questions you need to ask and you're not going to forget them. You can kind of pin them here. So that really helps to keep that organized and efficient for you as well. Let's see, Shelley, do we have you back at all? Okay, no worries. All right, so the next thing that we wanted to highlight is just sort of reviewing maybe your past session notes or recommended protocols or your client journal entries. So as you're sort of leading up to your session, best practice would be just to, you know, come into your client's file here and just take a look at maybe your past notes or protocols and just be really up to date on the last few things that you discussed with your client. And maybe, you know, if specifically with journal entries, maybe your client has submitted an entry since your last session that you haven't had a chance to look at yet. You might want to take a peek there, just make sure that you are up to speed on, yeah, any entries that they've sort of submitted to you.
Sorry guys, my Zoom crashed.
That's okay, Shelley, no worries.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we can, yeah.
So weird. Yeah, so you talked about the past session notes and recommended protocols and things.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you're going to be, if your session is going to be through telehealth, whether Practice Better or Zoom, that it's a good idea to go to your schedule and go just to check on your booking that you can see the little video icon. So that means that that session was set up as a video conference, so that you know when you're getting ready to do it, that you'll be able to click on that and open that up. The other thing too, it's really helpful if you're just starting out, you're just starting to work with clients over telehealth, is just to reach out to your clients ahead of time and just make sure that they understand how to connect with you the day of the session. Maybe you could do this like the day before or on your previous session if that was like in person or on the phone, and then maybe just a way that they could contact you if they're having any problems. So like your email and your phone or through Practice Better chat, just so that you guys have a game plan if they are having any trouble. If they're sending you an email but you're not checking that, then they may just give up, and hopefully that's not the case. So one thing that a lot of our users do that's really helpful is just to create your own like onboarding document or a video for your clients. So you're, you know, obviously welcome to use the Practice Better welcome video for the client portal, but given that everybody's practice is so different and different workflows, different documents, different kind of things that the client needs to do with you, it's really helpful. And it's also just a nice way to connect with your clients, is create like a little video, maybe show if you have like a PDF or PowerPoint with just a few of the steps that you want to go through, but then they can see your face and hear you talking about how they're going to log into the portal and how they're going to use it. So that's just something to think about. Is just creating your own personalized onboarding video. And then the last thing is just, and I'm sure all of you are already familiar with our help articles. Those, I don't know, Meerah, if you want to navigate over to the help articles, but
yeah, so there's two places actually where you can find them. The onboarding guide is linked already on the left-hand side on one of the bookmarks. Or if you go to the question mark icon on the top right-hand corner, you can search from our help center or visit the help center directly.
Yeah, so related to, you know, telehealth specifically for this example would be just kind of reading through the help articles on the telehealth and any kind of troubleshooting, so that you're familiar before your first session on, you know, some questions that may come up by your client. So I would also have some of those help articles open just to reference. So if the client isn't able to hear you or see you, and you can kind of walk them through how to enable their microphone and video, or just to ensure that they're on the latest version of, you know, which type of browser they should be on. So those are just some helpful things to think about and do right before your session with your clients.
Yeah. And there was a question, Shelley, about how would you set up the welcome video?
Yeah. How would you automate it? Let's see. Well, depending on where you're hosting, you know, so if you create it and then maybe you upload it to YouTube or Vimeo, you could put that into the email. If you, depending on what plan you're on in Practice Better, you can customize the email template. So you could include a link in the email that goes out to them when they book a session with you. So they just would click on the link in the email to watch the video. You could, you know, upload it into Practice Better if it's not like a huge file in the documents, and like share that with them there. So there's a few different ways that you could do that.
Yeah. And then someone else had asked, how do you create an onboarding document? Do you create a document and send it to them the day before?
Again, it's just very specific to what you want to do. I mean, I've created for my clients like a PDF, kind of like a one-page checklist, and I had some links in there for them to click on that they could click on, you know, if they were viewing it on their computer, and then they could kind of go through, and if they want to print it out, they can like check that they've done all the different things that I wanted them to do before the first session, like fill out their paperwork, you know, get familiar with logging in, download the app if they want to download it on their phone. You know, I had a few videos for them to watch. So checklists are really nice because then they feel like they can just like check things off that they've already done.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was a question kind of going back to when we were talking about sort of making sure that your telehealth or Zoom session is set up. So someone had asked, so can you set up your Zooms ahead of time and insert the link there? So I think maybe what they're asking is, you know, can you set it up as a Zoom session from the get-go? So you can actually set up your default telehealth to be Zoom if that's what you're planning to use.
Yeah, I can quickly speak on that. So if you go to the gear icon under third-party integration, so first you would need to make sure that you have Zoom linked. If you need HIPAA compliant Zoom, you can purchase an add-on under My Subscription Credit and Add-ons. Once that's done, your default video method will automatically be Zoom. You can change that by going to the gear icon and go to telehealth and messaging. So the default here, you can verify is to use Zoom, and you can change that to Practice Better or none. And secondly, you can also change this on a service-to-service basis. If you go to My Practice, My Services, click Edit beside any service, and scroll down to Booking Options. So here it already says Zoom because that's set as the default, but you can change this specifically to use Practice Better telehealth, or vice versa. You can switch it for any services. So it depends. But yeah, once this is set as Zoom, all sessions booked using telehealth will generate a Zoom link automatically. And you can verify that by going to your bookings and confirming that there's a Zoom button. And in the event there isn't, you can always update your your session details by clicking Update Details. I'm changing this from in-person to online video chat and ensuring that I'm selecting Use Zoom. And once I select Update, you'll see a Zoom link will appear. So now you can see this is a Zoom link, and if I go back to my schedule, my bookings, you can see there's also a Start Zoom meeting button here.
Yeah, Thanks, Meerah. And then someone's asking, how does practice telehealth work? So I think they're referring to the Practice Better telehealth. So basically, we have a built-in video chat feature called Practice Better telehealth, and that would typically be used for one-on-one sessions, and then Zoom can be used for one-to-many sessions. So that's one of the main differences. So if you are doing group coaching, or you need to be on those calls with more than one client, then you would need to integrate Zoom, but otherwise you can use Practice Better telehealth, and that's just built into the platform. So there's nothing that you need to integrate on that front.
Yeah, and then there's a good question here about any tips when to use notes versus protocols for sending a client follow-up summary. Yeah, I've had that question quite a bit. That's a good one. So the nice thing, so with protocols, the nice thing is, you create this template and you have these 3 sections. So you have your food recommendations, so include, exclude, or reduce. And then you have your supplements, if you do work with supplements, and then your lifestyle recommendations. So you can have all of that already set up, and it's really, the protocols are based, they each one would have a focus. So whether it's like, sleep or gut health or some type of focus, and then, you would create it for a client, and then you can personalize it to the client. Obviously, you may be adjusting the supplement doses or removing or adding a few of them, but you don't have to start from scratch. So if you're going to be making some recommendations to after a session, and it's not really related to a specific focus, like something that you already have a protocol template built for, if it's just under your plan that you're going to share with them, like, schedule your next visit in 2 weeks, go have labs, X, Y, and Z done, please send me your last visit summary from your physician, like those types of things that aren't necessarily related to one of the protocols. You could just put that in your session notes under a summary and share that with them. But the point of the protocols is to really help to save you time, to not have to be typing this stuff over and over again. So if you find that you're putting a lot of food, supplement, lifestyle recommendations in your note summary, then you might want to consider creating a protocol template so that you don't have to type all that. Or you can also create a snippet if you really do want to keep it in notes. But so hopefully that's helpful for that question.
Yeah. And then another question I see here is there a way to share that onboarding guide in a newsletter to all clients? So I think they're referring to the bookmark on the main page there, the onboarding guide. So that onboarding guide is, I believe the one there is for you as a practitioner. Is that right, Meerah? That's the one it links to?
Yes, so this is specifically for practitioners. If you go to our health center and our YouTube channel, we do have videos and help articles geared towards clients, but we do recommend creating an onboarding guide for your clients to walk them through your process of working with them with Practice Better.
Yeah, perfect. And if you're wanting, so I think another part of their question is sort of sharing something like in a newsletter to all clients. So one thing that's coming to mind is using the broadcast message feature. So if you're wanting to send out a message, like an automated message to all your clients or a specific group of clients, you could use that broadcast message feature, assuming you are on the Plus or the Team plan, because that feature is just available on the Plus or the Team plan. Yeah. All right, let's see if there's any other questions here. Is there a Practice Better app for mobile? Yes, there absolutely is. Yeah, so you can use that. The client can use that and the practitioner can also use that as well.
Where is the broadcast feature? That's a pretty quick one. We could just show where to go to get that.
So you'll go to your messages section, and click on the red button and select New Broadcast.
Yeah, and just be aware though that that is available on the Plus in the team plan. So if you're on Sprout Starter or Professional plan, you would not be seeing the broadcast.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else we've got here. So someone's saying they're having trouble with getting snippets to work. So yeah, for any, sort of help or troubleshooting, like Meerah had said earlier, you can reach out to our customer success team at help@practicebetter.io for any support. And then, as we've also mentioned too, we have a really wonderful help center that has some excellent articles and YouTube videos and things like that. So you can also receive guidance there on anything as well.
There's another question about Zoom. Are you able to use Zoom for a prospect who has not been onboarded as a client? And does the starter plan allow you to use Zoom for more than one client at a time? So really, unless you're like, there's two different things. There's Zoom and then there's the HIPAA compliant Zoom. So regular Zoom, you're going to have your own Zoom account, so that you're going to have a Zoom account outside of Practice Better, which you can use with anybody you want. It doesn't have to be anybody that's a client in Practice Better. That's just Zoom. And then if you want to use that within Practice Better, you're going to go to your settings and third-party integrations. You're going to connect Zoom in your Practice Better. So that's going to allow when a client, selects telehealth or video chat for the way they want to meet with you, if you have Zoom as the default, you can launch those meetings from within Practice Better. But you can still use your Zoom account outside of Practice Better. It's still your Zoom account, whether it's the free account or the paid account. But you can get Zoom through Practice Better as an add-on if you do want to get the HIPAA compliant version of Zoom and you want to use that through Practice Better. Not only do you get a much better price than you would get if you got it through Zoom, but then you can, all of your Zoom settings, everything will be through Practice Better. So hopefully that helps.
Just to add on to that, the HIPAA compliant Zoom is not available on the starter plan. On the starter plan, you can only integrate your already existing Zoom account. On the starter plan, you can only conduct one-on-one sessions. You can't create group sessions to be able to do group calls with. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, and the HIPAA, they're asking about the HIPAA compliant Zoom. I mean, essentially with the HIPAA compliant Zoom, the big difference from regular Zoom is that when you go to record, if you want to record your session, HIPAA compliant Zoom will not record to the cloud. So it's always going to record locally to your hard drive. But on regular Zoom, you can choose if you want to record to the cloud, if you want to send a link out to people to rewatch it, or if you want to record it locally. That's the main difference. And yes, Practice Better telehealth is HIPAA compliant. That was another question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see another question earlier here. How would I set up a Zoom session with two different people logging into the same session? How do I schedule that? So it sounds like they're looking to set up a group session. So when you are sort of creating a new service, maybe Meerah, we can just quickly navigate there.
So go to My Practice, My Services, click on the red Fast Action button and select Add Service. And if you intend more than one person to be able to attend this service, then I recommend selecting the group option.
Yeah.
And then from here, under booking options, you can set it up similar to a service, and the default will be Zoom.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Meerah. All right, let's see here. What else have we got?
This will be easy to show. So I'm a new user and I was acting as a practice client to go through the booking process. And I noticed when I tried to schedule a session, it was forcing me to put in a credit card in the system, even though it was a complimentary session. I could not find where to change this. So I'm thinking that even that you had checked off in under your, Meerah, if you go, just go to services. So if you go to your services and then go to whichever service that is, that's the complimentary service, and then go to advanced options, I'm wondering if you could just check that maybe you had this checked, require the billing information. So that's a way for you to require clients to put in their billing information, even if it's a free session, just for future use. So if you uncheck that, then that should help. You're welcome.
Nice. All right, let's see what else we've got here. I'm not sure if I'm seeing anything else that we haven't covered. Shelley, do you see anything?
There is a question, is there a service to help us set up or fine tune practice better settings that is currently available for a fee? So that currently, that is not available through us. I know there are people, I can't think of anybody's name specifically, but there are people who are users or had been users that do help with helping people set it up. So you may want to do like a Google search or something, but through Practice Better right now, you can always just help, email help@practicebetter.io, and, they can help you as well. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and I feel like there is someone that we know of, Shelley. Maybe if we do find a name or anything, information,
Yeah.
we could always share that afterwards in the follow-up
Sure.
recap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Oh, someone says Practice Better Help Desk is awesome and super helpful. Yay! That's great to hear. Thanks for sharing that. Amazing. Okay, well, I think we'll probably sort of wrap things up, unless Shelley or Meerah, there was anything else that you wanted to touch on.
No.
I think we got everything.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, so thank you guys all so much for joining us. Here, I'm just gonna put my video back on so you can kind of say goodbye to everyone. Yeah, we really appreciate you sticking around with us for this deep dive. Pro tips to speed up your workflow. We hope it was really helpful. And like we said, there will be a replay sent out. So for anyone attending or anyone watching in the future, if there's any questions, definitely let us know. And we will also send out with the replay just a quick recap of everything we touched on with links to resources for that as well. So yeah, we'll kind of leave it there, and thank you guys so much, and wishing you all a wonderful rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. We'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.